Forge Captain Kyle Bekker and Mitch Houlahan bring you the Captain's Log on the Forge Audio Network.
Welcome and thanks for joining us on this week's Captain Log. Mitch Houlahan here with the captain of our undefeated Forge, Kyle Bekker, number 10 in your program.
This is good. This is good.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are we?
Let's kick it off with weather tech.
Yeah, we here at the Log need to give a big shout out to just supporters of the Forge, supporters of the Ticats, supporters of Hamilton Sports Group as a whole, our friends over at WeatherTech. Just great people, better company. Wait, no, that's backwards. Great company, better people. There we go. Nailed it. Absolute beauties. If you've got a vehicle and you need some mats for any of the weather that comes your way here in the GTA, you just got to pop over to WeatherTech. They're out in Burlington. Just absolute beauties. They got a good product. Hooking it up. Just tell them that you're friends of the Forger, and I don't know, maybe they'll give you a high five. But they're awesome.
Did you just fire up some weatherproof mats for the summer?
Yeah. Timing is impeccable. just popped on my winters, got my winter tires on, and I got the WeatherTechs. Just you can never be too early.
Getting out of the pool, getting right in the car with the wet flip flops.
That's it. Now you just go straight from the pool to the car. Yeah. No mess.
All right. So just me and you this week. Just us.
Just us, buddy.
Look at us.
So
we figured it'd be a good time and we could practice our interview chops, get into a little bit of deep dive on your captain, on our captain, on you.
This is going to be good.
So we'll see where it goes. Feel free to criticize any of the questions or give constructive criticism the other way too, but we're just going to get into some Kyle Bekker topics today. We got some emails from fans. We got some questions from friends, family, your nearest and dearest. I threw a couple questions in there myself. We'll see how it goes.
Oh boy, this is a surprise. This is going to be something.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the whole pod tonight. But first, there's something from last week's pod that came to our attention that I want to address first, because it caused a little bit of havoc.
A little bit of riffraff?
Yeah, we were just chopping it up a little bit, chatting about the school day, chatting about fan experiences a little bit, ended up playing a clip, and we just wanted to clarify that there was a truck in front of the drone show.
Yeah. We haven't got a grip of this whole people listening and not being able to see what we're looking at, huh?
Yeah, so it was a good
some
clip.
People missed out on the circumstances, some context.
Yeah.
Some vital context behind the greatest fan video ever submitted.
Yeah, so we did our best to ruin it for the listeners, but just needed to clarify that before we really dove in here today.
Maybe in the Captain's Log Journalism 101, we left the audience in wanting more, and we're actually smarter than everyone else. So, I don't know. Food for thought.
I'll listen to those arguments.
That was it. It wasn't plural. That was one argument. That's all I had.
Also, just an excuse to throw the clip back in because it's just an all-time clip, and we just can't get enough of it.
Dave, fire it up, buddy. Let's have a laugh. Are you gonna practice what you preach and explain what's going on in the video?
Oh, you're fucking wrecking the drone show, bud. You're wrecking the drone show.
So we got a fan here outside what I think might be the Stipley. Game could be over. I don't know when the drone show.
Hey, off! There's a drone show, guy.
We got a truck just going about his business, blocking the drones that are making a Grey Cup, and it's a treat. And one fan felt like he was a little shortchanged, so he just had to let the driver know.
Yeah. Simple explanation that we could have just thrown in there was he's standing in the parking lot trying to enjoy it. Truck pulls in front. That's it. That's pretty much it.
And you just had a couple cocktails, so it was a little funnier.
Yeah. We're actually going to start with a little in the news segment.
Ooh.
Ripped from today's headlines.
Ooh.
Happy
Kyle
Gilmore
Bekker,
2.
shit at practice.
Happy. You want to talk about
No,
that
no,
first?
no. I thought you were going
Happy
from the
Gilmore
headlines.
2.
Oh.
Green lit. Thoughts?
I mean, has Sandler ever made a bad movie?
Easy answer, no.
That's from
Put
the
me
heart.
in a corner. I have to answer that. No.
Hey, I'm right there with you, dude. We're backs against the wall. We're fighting our way out of that one. But okay, admittedly, our guy Sandler, he's missed a couple. Are we mad at him? No. Is Happy Gilmore one of the greatest movies ever invented? Yes. So
Ever invented.
I don't know. Ever what would you go? Directed?
I mean, sequels after this long often miss hard.
Comedy sequels especially.
For sure.
I feel like that is just so difficult.
I think what Happy's got going for him is that, Sandman in general, he can deal with the criticism.
I just don't think he gives a shit.
Dealing with critics has always been the strong shoot of the Happy Madison production
That was
company.
a Mr. Harris slip up right there, like you read about, buddy.
Yeah, so no, it's obviously going to be a instant classic. Nobody gives
What
a shit
do
what
they say
anyone
anything of the direction they're gonna go with old Happy?
thinks.
Is Happy getting on the live tour? Happy's just beating the shit out of Rory for who's gonna be the leader of the Beatles.
Should we throw around a couple of plot lines? Maybe next week we'll put together a few ideas.
I got one right off the cuff, but we're gonna need some clarifications. We're gonna need some
go.
fact checks for it.
Let's go.
Is Bob Barker dead?
Yes.
So then it needs to be this. The film should start. Sandman sees Shooter at Bob's funeral, and that's the start. First scene.
Yes, that's
Unreal.
not bad. And you know they're gonna give him a good shout out too. Like
You'd hope so.
yeah, no, for sure.
Happy's got to say some words. Maybe Happy was involved in old Bobby kicking the bucket.
Same as
Who knows?
Chubbs.
I don't know.
A little flashback where
Yeah.
he caused. Yeah. Did you see
That'd
that?
be unreal.
Did you see that thing that Sandler did with Bob Barker and that little clip in the hospital? Little callback.
No,
A few years ago. That was a pretty good one too. Yeah, let's think of a few more of those for next week. I'm sure that'll be exciting for everyone.
Honestly, I think that's why they
leaves
tuned in.
LA home he's been staying in amid Jennifer Lopez split rumors. It was
What was that? Say it
slow
again?
news day.
What was that one?
Ben Affleck leaves LA home he's been staying in amid Jennifer Lopez split rumors. What do you got?
Old Benny just can't get one of these relationships to stick, huh?
Like, who cares? Why'd I even read that? All right, let's get into the meat of the program today.
Meat and potatoes.
Because there's still some things that as we've been doing these pods, I think that I'm still finding out about you. So I got a couple things I'm curious about.
Hey,
and
fire
I
them
think
off, buddy.
think it's always good for the I don't know, to hear more from you, hear your thoughts, opinions, philosophies,
Hopes and dreams.
Any questions you're hoping gets asked in this interview?
I'm not really good when you put me on the spot like this, so
I know. All right,
I'm just
rapid
ready.
fire. When was the last time you changed your mind?
This morning.
What happened?
I went into practice saying don't be a dickhead, and I changed my mind and I was a dickhead. The thing about getting older,
good.
Mitch, is
It's always good
when you're screwing up and you just don't care.
It's good to be flexible like that.
Yeah.
Be able to
I
change your
mean-
mind. That's big of you.
I'm trying to be a little better, you know. But for those who know me, they know I'm emotionally charged, I would say.
Wear it on your sleeve.
Wear it on the sleeve. And yeah, it's a gift and a curse, I would say. So sometimes I choose poorly.
All right. I hear you train for hours every day. Do you ever wish you could just sit on the couch and watch TV instead?
Honestly, not really. I like playing soccer. It's pretty fun. So
All right, well, if you played along and said yes, what is your favorite TV program?
like all time? Or
Yeah, let's go
What
all
I'm watching right now.
TV program.
guy, this is a sticky one. Because if you're just going for sheer like rewatches, late night, you don't know what to watch, what are you firing off?
Yeah.
It's either The Office or Seinfeld, 100%. But then you go into like best ever, and my problem is I always just forget legendary shows that are out there. Like it's like you were firing off a little top 5 movie Q&A in the group chat, whether it was today or yesterday, I can't remember. And it's just it's so hard to put a stamp on those. But
yeah, you just want to justify all your answers to everyone.
Because like I also
You
watch
just have like
1,000.
6.
I don't even want to know how many times I've rewatched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But like what I say is my favorite TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean the volume it's getting, guy. Tough to argue. It's like like the old school like top 25 most played on the old iPod. You don't want people cracking that code.
That's too deep.
that's way too personal.
We don't want to give away that much.
Yeah.
If someone was asking you like in a shitty like rapid fire post game favorite TV show ever, what would you say?
Office.
What do you got loaded up?
I'm
The
just saying
Office?
Office. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nosebleed
pretty-
Office answer.
That's not great.
What are you saying off the cuff? See, it's impossible not to overthink it.
Yeah, let's keep the questions going the other way here.
This guy's
You
going
can
to say
interview me
CSI
another
New
time.
York. 100%.
Yeah.
SVU. God damn it.
Have you seen Law and Order Toronto?
No, you've mentioned it far too many times for my liking, and there's just no chance I'll ever do it.
Oh man, it's bad.
It's one of the good ones.
All right, well here's a this one on any given day probably could be a top for the nostalgia, but Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character and why?
Ooh,
Is it
TR.
Tim Riggins?
You got to go TR.
Yeah, why is it Tim Riggins? Tell us about it.
Well, I don't know. I think there's something about the guy with a ton of talent who is just self-sabotaging his career away. That for some reason has always struck a chord with old Kyle Bekker.
Unrealized potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
And
are
he
those are the
gets
best.
it together
30
for a bit
30s
and just
too.
sets like a couple school records, like knocks out like 4 touchdowns in a game, and then he
Yeah.
just goes and gets absolutely banged up with the boys.
Yeah,
Team
like there's a couple good 30 for 30s that are like that. It's just like the guy could have been the best.
Oh yeah, the Celtics one. What's that guy called?
Yeah.
The white boy from Celtics. That's an absolute unbelievable 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Where you should probably figure out the name of it, but
yeah. As a self-proclaimed candy connoisseur, what's your top
are you going to the mall later?
top movie theater candy and top plane/travel candy?
Movie theater candy. Movie theater candy. I'm going Sour Patch Kids and peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
And plain candy. I'm going. Is it like what you would get in an airport, or can you go and do some independent shopping prior to your trip in preparation.
Yeah, no, preparation for sure.
So I'm going Bulk Barn, and I'm going peanut and caramel M&Ms mixed bag with like a couple peanut butter ones sprinkled in there just as a little surprise, a little hey, how are you? Because too many of those guys, it's just too much.
Honestly,
and then,
all right. No, sorry. Keep going.
yeah, you can't just go chocolate when you're gonna get a tummy ache. So you got to balance that out with some real candy, some of the hard stuff to bring yourself back to neutral. And I think I'm gonna go. Ooh, it's actually changed. So I would go either Haribo Twin Snakes, Haribo. I'm saying Haribo, whether that's right or wrong. Twin Snakes, because those are just a 25 out of 10 for those who haven't had them. But if I was still going from Bulk Barn, I would go Fuzzy Peach Cherry Blaster and maybe like a peach ring combo. Dive in there until I just get sore stomach and can't run for shit when I land.
I mean, if anyone's looking for a professional candy answer,
was that good?
I'll give it to you. That was good.
Also, what is a slept-on candy? See, this is like the movie thing. There's just too many to pick from. But slept-on candy is the candies that have the white bottom, the white gummy bit on the.
Yeah.
The real ones, no.
All right. What have you read any books lately?
Yeah, I'm actually.
What you got?
I'm in the middle of one right now. Pippa Grange, Fearless. Dr. Pippa Grange. She's like I don't know what her exact role would be, but maybe a therapist, sports psychologist. But she's worked with like a ton of big teams, worked with the English national team, done some stuff with like the New Zealand All Blacks, and then just like a ton of companies, like CEOs, like C-suite people. And it's pretty sweet. One of the better ones I've read in a while.
Do you have a favorite book? If someone asked you the same thing, favorite movie, favorite book, you got one on there?
This is gonna. So
I was trying to think of this today too.
This is gonna be cheesy, but I'm gonna have to just stick. I'm gonna go with it because it's the real answer.
Do that.
But you know me, the old childhood wasn't filled with books. I was a late bloomer when it came to reading, and honestly, like when I finally started reading books and actually like kind of like bought into it, it's gonna sound stupid, first real legit book that I read where I was like, oh, that was good, was To Kill a Mockingbird. Never read it in school, but fired that one off. It's like, this book thing is pretty sweet.
Nothing wrong with a classic.
It's a book you're supposed to read in like grade 9.
Yeah, I know. It's like when people say their favorite movies like Shawshank or like also too. It's just but it's a whatever. At least you know, the first one's always impactful too. It's like the excitement of actually finishing a book. Plus, it's a good one.
All I'd known from To Kill a Mockingbird was the Cole's notes on the interwebs. A couple copy and paste there, piece of paper together.
Just getting through the old English class.
Yeah. Shout out Mrs. Patterson.
Yeah.
Taught me everything I know.
This is the second time Miss Patterson's come up.
Come on, actually?
Yeah, we talked about your video book report presentation with the wrestling characters.
Who knew how impactful grade 10 English was going to be for old Kyle Bekker? Yeah. Young Kyle Bekker.
Hey, me too. Great class.
Chocolate milk toss? Unreal.
What about a history topic? You like the old history books too. You like a good historical character, a good historical.
I actually just it started out great and then it became a little bit of a bore. I was reading this book on Winston Churchill, and it was like a ton of like first person accounts and like things from journals and diaries and stuff about his day-to-day through World War II. Yeah. And that was pretty sick. There's some crazy stuff in there. I think it was called The Wicked and the Vile. Could be wrong. Might have to fact check that one. Old Davey will pop her in. because I'm sure everyone is dying to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, World War II is crazy. Great history.
I'm not great at like reading a historical topic and like picturing it as a real thing.
I would say that's the craziest part about this book is when you watch like a World War II in color on Netflix and then you read this book, it is hard to piece it together.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, because this is every like there's so many like first person accounts of like civilian stuff, like just a random person who either submitted or somehow they got a hold of it, whatever it may be, of what was going on, versus like the stuff on the front lines, the combat, just civilian stuff and the casualties, and just like how it, like every person was just living their life, like going on about their day with all this shit happening. And like the amount of people who in England, when Germany was invading, they would actively like go outside to be like, oh, the planes are coming. Like but they were bombers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Hard to comprehend.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's a good lead into our next question, I guess.
We're all about transitions here.
Do you say milk or milk?
Milk. Anyone who says milk is say pillow.
And a second, do you enjoy a pint of milk with your grilled cheese?
Yeah. A tall glass of milk. Listen, we both come from long lines of milk drinkers. Like, there's no denying it. It's a glass of milk. The older you get is off-putting, but if you lean into it, it's just a treat. It is what it is. I'm not saying I'm sitting here glass and pints of milk like a Mick Poyle from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Couple of glasses of milk. Lukewarm. Skim for the lady. Look, we don't want your milk, Liam.
I'm not bathing in milk. But if you have just like a grilled cheese or a homemade sandwich with some plain Lay's potato chips, and you're mad at a glass of milk, you're a liar.
My only switch up on that, whenever possible, I love a baked Lay's.
Really? Oh,
with a sandwich?
Dave's gonna get
I feel
mad.
like the only place you can get baked Lay's now is just at Subway.
Yeah. Dude, how distinct of a smell is Subway? I think you can smell it from the parking lot. It's out of control. Just brings me back to like a U13 tournament.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good point. Probably has something to do with like wasn't there a like in Europe, didn't they ban like the Subway bread? They were like, this isn't real.
I mean, weird.
Like,
a fast food chain isn't knocking out farm to table bread, and we're all surprised.
Well, isn't it? I mean, shouldn't Subway just smell like a bakery?
I mean,
but it does not. It smells like Subway.
Yeah, it does. That's the thing. Like, you could probably bottle that up, and some absolute ditch pig is gonna wear that.
Oh, as a fragrance? Sorry, I missed that. Bottle up Subway. Yeah. Hey, you should get back in. You modeled for Subway once at one point.
Yeah.
You get back in the
Subway
cup.
Game. Got the cup to prove it.
All right, we'll look into that.
Me and Happy.
Let's stick with the bread. Let's stick with the bread topics.
Yep.
Favorite bagel and toppings.
Bagel. Bagel and toppings. Guy, I think I'm just a very simple. Either I don't really have like a plain or a sesame with just like a nice dill cream cheese from like a proper deli.
Yep.
It's just like a good schmear on that. Yep. Oh, just lather it on.
I mean, if you're talking like what gets the job done is enjoyable every time, like just a nice double toasted sesame with some butter. I don't know how it misses.
Although it's dripping in the butter though, isn't it? That thing is glistening.
If like
if there's any sort of dent in that bagel, that's a buttercup.
Yeah. Homemade for sure though, that doesn't miss.
Yeah. at any point of the day.
Yeah.
It's like a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
There's a question.
there-
All right.
yeah, there's
What's
a-
your There's a question. We're going to you first. Flipping it. What's top cereal choice?
Honestly, like one cereal for the rest of my life, I'm going multigrain Cheerios.
That is disgusting. Are you
Why?
kidding me?
It's just
Why wouldn't you just go Honey Nut?
Because you're just getting thrown off by the word multigrain. It's a lie. It's just
flavorless
covered in
crap.
No, it's just.
Are you
it's-
okay? Wait, are
it's
you
as
like
sweet
putting
as
honey
Nut
on it? Are you putting
Am I
brown
putting
sugar
honey
on it?
my cereal?
Yeah. I don't know. Are you gonna spruce it up?
Multigrains are as sweet as Honey Nut Cheerios.
All right,
take
we're gonna
that.
have to get a poll out there for this
No, I'd
after
take
this
that.
episode because I beg to differ.
I'd take that to the lab. All right, what are you going?
One cereal for the rest of my life.
I bet I could guess.
What?
Or just top? Are you going top or one for the rest of your life?
Wait.
Favorite all time.
Favorite all time.
Doesn't have to be the only one you have left. I don't know why I
No,
added
just
that in.
favorite all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing?
Yeah, that was you started that bit.
I think it's Reese's Puffs.
No. Favorite all time cereal. If I'm being 100% truthful, is Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. Fuck.
Yeah. And I honestly think that would be the rest of my time. It wouldn't last very long because my teeth would fall out.
That's a good pick. Honestly, if we're talking sweetness levels, multigrain Cheerios and Captain Crunch.
And Captain Crunch are on the same page.
Pretty close. I think honestly, the branding's in your head. They want you to think it's healthy.
This is like the non-fat yogurt Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking of that.
And it's non-fat. How could this not have any fat? It's too good.
That's why you put your Slim and Black on, because you just had 4 bowls of multigrain Cheerios before this.
Okay. One last food one, because you're a I think something that is a little it's not surprising at all, but you're a pretty good chef. You've hosted a couple dinners that have been
Not
tasty.
crap.
Yeah, not crap. So you head down the street to the old Portuguese grocer.
Yeah.
Crush a couple egg tarts, pick up a nice big fat juicy delicious steak for yourself, bringing it home to cook.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I'm real simple. Just salt and pepper that thing into next week. Ideally, you can like leave it out, get it to nice room temp, leave it on the counter for a couple hours so it gets nice and tender.
A couple hours.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Sorry. All right, sorry. Keep her going.
and then I'm going real simple. Get the pan just piping, and then a 2-2-4 program. 2 minutes sear on each side, then 4 minutes in the oven at like 425. And just bring that thing out. Ideally, it's a nice medium rare, and you're just cooking with peanut oil.
Yeah.
Nice little thin slice, and just enjoy. The hardest part about a nice steak is ever giving it the time to rest when you take it out of the oven and not just eat it right away.
Everyone says it's the key, huh?
Yeah. Or just, if you're feeling real crazy, just a copious amounts of butter and just giving it the old, getting that on it when you're doing the sear. Yeah, the baste. I mean, and you're breathing nice and heavy after. It's great.
Everyone makes the basting on all the YouTubes like look easy. Sometimes it's not.
You just have to put so much butter. That's all it is.
But yeah,
it's way more than you think.
Yeah, and the heat's like, I don't know. You can it can get messy if you're going like butter too hot.
Yeah. I think that's
All
the
right.
thing. You put the butter on before it's like crazy, so it doesn't get it doesn't just brown right away.
Yeah, but then if you do the 2 minutes sear on each side and then the 4 minutes in the oven, like where do you add in the baste?
While you're searing it.
Okay.
and then it's just in the oven, getting all those lovely juices.
Yeah. When was the
I
last
really
time you
just
went to
took the
Buffalo? What?
wind out of your sails, huh?
No,
All right, sorry, you're
needed-
flying. Oh,
I needed to-
Kid
I
can't
need-
even read.
I needed to get out of the food questions. A lot of food questions, a lot of milk questions from Lee. We know the Bekker boys love their milk. That's what I was going to say. If you want to talk about milk, we'll get Lee on here. You guys can talk about milk for half an hour.
Oh man, but like, what is
Not to
better
make-
than huh?
Yeah, no, not to make that sound like I'm not a supporter.
Yeah,
Big milk
yeah,
supporter.
milk and a little cup of milk and a full thing of Oreos, and you're just refilling the milk with after all the dunks and the chugs.
You just honestly, I try to eat as many as I can.
And then just do a nice chug.
Yeah, you gotta try to just get as thirsty as possible. And
Just all the Oreos in your jibs.
Yeah,
just do a nice smile.
As many as you can until you're uncomfortable.
Okay, wait. Before we move on, last thing, and I'll stop interrupting. If you got a pack of Oreos right now, in one sitting, how many are you putting down before you're like, this is a problem? In one night, or do you just not care and you're just peeling that bag back and going for it, leaving caution to the wind?
Yeah, like not to dissect this too much, but like, I don't think that you understand the struggles of someone who's not a professional athlete. It's just a daily, like, come on, I'm being healthy today. Like, let's get her together. Like, we don't all run 2 hours every day where we can just flush, as much, but
Yeah.
Those things aside. So we're just caution to the wind. Box of Oreos.
It's Friday night. You're feeling crazy.
I think you start asking questions after a row.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's.
I think
we're in the same
much,
boat.
much more than that. It's like that. I don't know. That's like
if you get past a row, if you get past a row and a half and you haven't once like checked yourself, but my worst play
things going on.
You're battling some demons, buddy. My worst thing about me and cookies is like I will do it in increments, as if I'm not just gonna like it's the weakest like willpower move of all time. So I'll take like 3 and I'm like, this is all I'm having tonight.
Yeah.
And then before I've sat down from the kitchen, I've smashed 2 of them. And then I eat the second I sit down, I eat the third. I'm like, all right, okay, wait, 3 more, and then I'll chill. And it's just literally up and down. It's crazy.
It's just mental warfare.
Yeah, and I've never won. All right, out of the food questions. Moving on.
Out of the food questions. All right, so now we'll get into the soccer stuff a little bit, and we'll do this. I think we should do this more. I think we should do a lot more segments, just like this, asking you questions. And I want to say too, any questions that come through to us in any way will be asked.
Yeah,
that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
We're an open book here.
We're an open book. So let's go to soccer a little bit. We'll start right from the beginning.
Yep.
This is my first question that I'm adding in for the day. Do you remember when we were 10 years old at a practice, chirping each other, and you yelled a vulgar phrase at me, and my mom scolded you from 2 fields away?
Dude, that's one of those things that you hear in these stupid like meme accounts where you're trying to go to sleep, get a good sleep on a just a weekday night. Then you
Oh, then,
remember
like-
that, and you're up for like 5 hours. Legitimately, to this day, that'll keep me up for a little bit. It
Like
was just the worst.
a memory that when it pops in your head, you just gotta like shake it off. You're like,
Yeah. I could just like, I'm a bad person.
that was hilarious.
For those who don't know, Mitch's mom is often referred to as the Pope by those in our friend group, and for her to hear me use such curse words at such a young age was just out of control, and I don't think she's ever looked at me the same since. Yeah, we're still living
20
out and down.
25 years have passed. You guys will at some point get over it.
I'll make amends.
Who's your biggest role model right now?
Right now, that's tough. There's two, I would say there's two. Being a new parent, obviously I've been thinking a lot of stuff like my dad used to do, and how he's been there for my brother, my sister, and myself countless times, and continues to be, and just how, I don't know, it's just crazy. It's very impressive, and things that I've probably taken for granted. But I would like to say we have a very good relationship, and we talk about it a lot, and while we have butted heads in the past, someone I definitely look to for advice, and someone that I always can count on being there, and not to get too emotional about it, but yeah, being a new dad that's a glaringly obvious choice.
That's cool. I love it.
It's pretty crazy. So,
Well, I think that's perfect because, like something you said to me a couple weeks ago, which, talking about Pete, your dad, for anyone listening, Pete, who you'll find in the stands every Forge game and here in the stands.
more importantly,
I mean, I'd love for him to hear the comment that you said after the first week, after the first Forge game. You said, like the season opener this year when you had Benny out on the field, and you said that it was the first time since you were a kid playing that you actually felt like a pro. First time you felt like when the kid Kyle Bekker said, I want to be a professional soccer player, like it was a dream at that point. That was the first time you said you felt like that dream in any capacity had happened.
yeah.
Take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one to explain, but just for some reason, just either it was the people that I was watching, obviously the access to what we had to the game was obviously limited, right? We would go to every month we'd go to Chapters and buy a 442 magazine. We'd have the It's Football magazines that we've talked about on this show before that were around at various places we'd play, whether it was the OSA Center or a few others. Like you pick them up at tournaments, if guys had kiosks, whatever, hanging around. And then you'd have the games on the weekend, and just anytime you see those like little glimpses of like into people's professional lives, whether it was like a Beckham walking around on the field with his kid, it just always was like the full total. That was it. Or like end of the season when the families would be on the pitch walking around, like clapping off all the fans, all that stuff. And it was just, that was it. And it's weird because saying it was like, it's never been something I've ever really given any thought. Like I've never pieced it all never like wasted any moments thinking about it. But once it happened, it was like very clear that like, and then to take it a step further and have like the likes of you and Lee, my sister, Kat, like my wife, Pete, Deb, everyone in the building is just insane. Because being in this game for now as many years as I've been in it, you very quickly realize playing in front of friends and family is nothing. It's not given. And I think it's rarer than you might think when you're growing up, and definitely something that I've probably taken for granted in my career. And being at this stage, it's like looking up every single game and knowing that my mom and dad are going to be there, my friends are going to be there, is it's a tough one to put into words, buddy. But it's it's crazy, and it's just something that does not happen too often, especially in this country, given the fact that we've only had a domestic league now for going into our, what is it, fifth season. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and one thing I'll save you from trying to say, because I'm sure you'll get choked up, but walking out with Benny and having one of the I forget who you told me it was one of the fans or someone coming through and looking at Benny and saying future Forge captain right there. Like that's crazy. But what stood out to me when you said that, honestly, is like to say like that was the first time you felt like you're living the dream after, like, you've had a 15-year career. There's been so many crazy moments where, you know, like even getting drafted, playing pro, playing in front of big crowds, like for that to be the one, like that Forge 6th season home opener to be like the time, like really, I don't know, it was interesting for me to hear too, for sure. I think it says a lot too about, I think a lot of people expect you to have a crazy ego. I think like just because you've always wanted to be a pro soccer player and just always been focused on that, and just like, you know, the thoughts towards athletes anyways, I think people would expect that. So I think there's been so many it caught me off guard because I felt like there'd be so many moments in your career, because you've done a lot, that like you would have felt like, I'm sick, like I'm doing it, but like, you know, to just be kind of, I don't know, humble, or I don't know how you dealt with it all across like the, you know, the earlier part of your career. But I don't know, it was an interesting comment. It definitely caught me a little bit. I thought it was really cool.
Well, I mean, to touch on one thing you said, is I've definitely handled it poorly at times in my career. I don't think I would be the loudest guy in any room. I don't think that's sort of how I am at any point. I'm competitive, I'm determined, I'm all those things, but I always get very weird when there's like any sort of, I don't know. I mean, you've seen it firsthand. It's hard to even talk about, but here and it's the comment I made about Benny was crazy, because it was actually told to me by Kat, my wife, and it was someone who was working at the stadium who made the comment. And where it really hit was just like the fact that I've actually earned any sort of like trust, respect, whatever, within this building, playing for this team, that people who work there, who know who my family is, are just unbelievable. Everyone who works at Tim Hortons Field is crazy. I've said it since day one. Like, they're the nicest people. They're bought into the club. They're bought into the community. They want our team to be successful, just because I think they just think they're a part of it, and they are a part of it. It's not like they're thinking, and it isn't like they are a vital part of all of our success, Ticats and Forge. And to just hear a comment like that, it's crazy. It just means so much. It's honestly, it was literally the best part of that day.
Yeah, but I think it says a lot. Says a lot about the fans. Says a lot about you. Says a lot about we got some special stuff going on here.
Yeah, meant a lot, that one.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's cut her off there. Like you said, we'll keep the keep a couple conversations for next time. Anything heading into the weekend?
Yeah, the boys are still undefeated. Obviously, I think we should give a little throwback to the game last weekend at Pacific, away from home. Second away trip. First one didn't really feel like it because we were just playing down the street at York. But second away trip of the season wasn't our best performance. I think anyone on our side would be the first ones to say that in a conversation. But those who have been following over the years have seen a few of those performances slip away and turn to losses. So to keep a clean sheet albeit it was a fairly boring game, but we maintained the bulk of the possession. We controlled it. We were just missing that last little bit of oomph to get it over the line. And coming away from home with a clean sheet and a point is still huge to remain unbeaten. Stay towards the top of the table and just keep pushing. So it's honestly, in terms of the bigger picture, it's massive and something I think we would have seen in years past let slip to a cheap goal and come home with nothing. So taking that into this weekend where we're back at home in front of our fantastic fans, and if we can get 3 points and just keep this thing going.
It's tough to say that we're seeing a different Forge this year because Forge are winners, but I think we're seeing a different Forge this year. So, yeah, definitely hope we can keep that going.
Yeah, it feels like there's a competitive maturity to the group. Just in terms of seeing things out. The reality is you're going to show up some games and you're just not going to have it. I think we saw, and this is by no means an excuse, it's just the reality of the situation. I think we had a big big output in that day game against Montreal. And we had such a good performance, but we still came away with a draw where we should have felt like we should have seen it out. There is a little bit of a come down from that, and it's very easy to go into a game like the one at Pacific and kind of just chuck it. Made a couple substitutions to the roster. Guys still got minutes, which is massive. Guys are getting first team minutes, which is huge, playing and big minutes at that to add that to the bank. But there's a rotation in the lineup, and it's not to say we don't trust these guys. It's just big travel, big output in that game on Tuesday, and those things happen. So the fact, again, that's another thing of why I'm trying to say it was a positive that we came away with a clean sheet and a draw. And just keep this thing rolling, man. Keep the vibes high. The morale's looking good, which is nice. We've had some great performances, I think, through the lineup. I think it's huge. Like even something simple, like we're playing Jassim getting minutes, Kalongo getting a rest, and he goes out and he gets that clean sheet, which is huge for his confidence because I think he's been fantastic all year. And him and Chris can keep pushing each other, and it's a ton of it shows that the boys got a ton of respect for who's back there, trying to keep them clean sheets, keep them getting points, keep them getting 3 points, whatever it may be, and keep going.
Are we gonna lose Kalongo because he's so goddamn good?
I mean,
unreal,
dude. He is a huge surprise, which is what this league's all about. Not in terms of like the boys who've been around him is great, but just to see a guy who's gotten his chance and he's just taken it. And that is the beauty of having a domestic league and why it's so important. Open more doors. Kid who would have by all means slipped through the cracks if there wasn't as many opportunities in this country, and potentially even could have slipped through the cracks if whatever the situation that's going on with if our number one from last year wasn't back. And he's taken his chance. So full credit to the kid, and he's shown that he has ability, and he's got a ton of talent. So hopefully he can keep growing over the year, and him and Jassim can keep pushing each other and just get better and better.
Yeah, we should get Chris on sometime.
Well, thanks, Oakville boy too.
Is he?
Yeah, Holy Trinity.
Really?
Little HD kid.
Okay. Only thing we missed today was the one question I was supposed to not forget, and a little bit behind the scenes insider info is actually from the guy who was in the drone show video. But we'll save her for next week because we need some time for it. But
keep the people wanting more. Just
as a teaser for next week, it was what your favorite video game is, but we'll save that.
Ooh.
A couple video game tales for next week.
Easy answer.
T-Hawk?
We're gonna so we're
all
just
right,
gonna
we covered
it.
So we got it.
Got it.
All right. Thanks for listening. Anyone that made it through. See you next week.
This was The Captain's Log with Kyle Bekker and Mitch Houlahan. The guys will drop another episode sometime, whenever they get to it. In the meantime, we would love and appreciate for you to like, follow, subscribe, click on the little bell, do all the things in all the places you get entertained, and you'll find more of this type of content. And that also means we get to spend more time together on the Forge Audio Network.